Lizzie, you look really...
Yeah. How's Katie doing? She's good. The little girls are so cute.
All right. Well, I think we should probably get started. What do you think?
We've got 26 people on so far.
Okay, so we're going to get started. You welcome everybody. I'm super excited for our Fort Wayne new jewelers and for all the area jewelers all over the nation. So we're going to have, I'm sure, jewelers on from New York and North Carolina, out different parts of Ohio, Alabama, and we've got a new jeweler walking in the door right now. And anyway, super excited. This is an exciting time for you all to start your Premier Designs business. This is going to go quick. The hour's going to go really fast. We've done these several times before, right, Holly Dove? And what I can tell you is that you're going to want to take some good notes. I really believe you need to take some really good notes. And you're going to want to apply what you learn. So you're not only going to want to just walk away from here from taking some great notes, but apply what you learned. And this is only going to help you in your business. It's going to be at about an hour. We're going to have you ask questions and feel comfortable. And all of you that are online, you can also ask questions. And you can actually type it in at the bottom of your Periscope. And Erin's going to flag me in when you have some questions. So we're also going to do questions if need be. I think the biggest secret in Premier is if you got a teachable heart. Just be open to learning. And I love what Peyton Manning said today on his retirement speech to everyone. Is basically he said, "I've given it a good fight. I've ran the race of football." But what he basically is known for is his preparation. He was always preparing and learning and getting better. And I think that's the biggest piece of advice I can give you in Premier. Nobody starts out in this business good. I don't think I'm still very good. Okay? So what I'm trying to say to you all is that it takes a lot of just preparation and practice. And practice what makes perfect someday. So just constantly learning of how to get better. The beautiful, great thing about that is there's so much at your fingertips, which can be exciting. So for example, Periscope, right? Online, you can go YouTube and watch all these different videos on how to do a great show. So any questions you might have, it's at your fingertips with Premier. We have so many online awesome trainings on our website through Premier Designs. But little by little, we're going to tell you what's important to learn, and you're going to work at getting better at those things. So just know that preparation to your business is important. Also, investment. What you invest in this business is what you will get out of this business. So what I like to say is that, if you put little time or investment in, that's going to be your return in this business. The more you invest and get excited about it and really work at it and invest in it, you're going to see that return to be equal fold. So you want to just keep that in the back of your head that if you want it to be something great, then just consider putting some energy and investment into it. And we're going to share with you how you can invest in this business. Also, my biggest piece of advice is this business is a relationship business. So we've been known for enriching lives. That's our philosophy, is to enrich every life we touch. And like even just today at lunch, I took a break and met a hostess that I've met several years ago, and I've done several shows with her, and we had lunch together. And we drove halfway. I drove 45 minutes to Antwerp, Ohio, and she drove 45 minutes to me, and we had lunch together. And it really is just a relationship that we've had over the years. So your customers, your people you meet, your hostesses, they become your friends. And you build relationships. You also build relationships with the people in a part of Premier, our Premier team. So some of your best girlfriends will be the girls that are sitting around this room, or when you go to different conferences that we have. We really have a really great relationship with each other. And so relationships is a really big thing, because you really got to love people to do this business. And to me, that's the most rewarding thing. So relationships, investing in time, being teachable, and I think that those are all things we can all work on and do, and we can find that will help us in our business. The other thing I want you to know about, and that is huge, is you are a part of a very unique company. And I was just thinking about it this morning. There are a lot of people who, have any of you ever tried any other type of direct sales business before? So Marie did, I remember that. Dawn, you have. And what I can tell you is that it's almost like we're so different than most direct sales companies. Give Premier a fresh start and know that we're so different than most direct sales businesses. Just basically even how we support you, how we work with you. Our philosophy, our purpose, our plan, our company is all about people more than profit. So we're really all about making a difference in people's lives. So the company spends a lot of investment in time in their resources and their programs, in our website, and everything they do for us is really because they put people before profits. They care about you as a jeweler. And I think that's so unique in a company because most companies don't care about that. What they care about is the bottom dollar. They care about their profit and what you're going to make them. Premier doesn't look at it like that. And the more you get to know, and I will challenge you to learn more about the company Premier Designs, because I will tell you the best piece of advice too is in the first 30 days that I started Premier, that I got into Premier and I go, oh my gosh, I started reading the book By Chance or By Design, and that will be in your kit when you become a jeweler. And if you haven't received it yet, I know that they were on back order and they were revising that book. And so if you read that book, what you'll realize is, wow, this is a very unique company. It's a biblically based company. We really do believe in supporting and enriching lives in everywhere we go and everywhere we touch. So I think it's important that we realize that we are so unique and we're so different. So we're going to support you differently. We'll probably, our philosophy will be different. Premier is honest and upfront and has a lot of integrity. So we as a part of Premier family, we do the same. We work for a company that is just has a lot of integrity and honesty. So it's a really awesome company to know that you work for. So the more you learn about Premier, the more you're going to realize, wow, I found the perfect direct sales business. I found the perfect company. So rest assured, you guys are a part of an amazing company that is huge. The other thing, I want to make sure I get all this right, is, you're going to hear a lot about our hostess plan. You're going to hear a lot about the guarantee, about our product line. What's exciting is that's what keeps our business going. We're going to talk a lot about that more in the next few weeks. But the reality is that we have such a great product line at a great price point with a guarantee back behind every piece that we sell. And our hostess plan, our hostesses fall in love with. So that makes us such a unique company. We don't have an inventory. We get paid the night of our shows. I mean, that's so different than most direct sales companies. I mean, I just heard about this morning that there are many direct sales companies that you don't get paid till the end of the month. So you might have to work hard all month, but you might not get paid for another 30 days. In Premier, you get paid the night of your show because Premier cares. They want to be able for you to be able to make that income that night and not have to worry about waiting a month to earn that. So you pick the best of the best, in my mind. And the fact of the matter, to make 50% and 10, 10, 10, that's our marketing plan, is outstanding. So we'll talk about that later as well. The opportunity you have is huge. So what do I mean by that? I didn't even introduce myself to you. I've introduced myself to you guys, but not to Periscope here. I'm Jane Francis, and I started about 13. I'm going into my 14th year. I'm an RN by trade, but when I got into Premier, I was 34 years old. Julia, that you guys all just met a little bit ago, was 4. My oldest son was 6, and Will, my baby, was 6 months old. And I wasn't necessarily looking for another job, but I longed for flexibility, and I knew that when I went to a Premier Designs jewelry show, and I had so much fun. I will share later how that all happened. But when I put myself in that environment, I thought to myself, wow, this looks like this could be a fun job. Is it worth it? Does the person who gets started, can they make money? Can they really make this work? And I will tell you that, Premier is, you can work alongside your busy life, and you can make it what you want. For some people, it is, Jane, I have no intentions of making this a part-time job. I just want to make $500 to $1,000 a month, right? There's some of you who can't even think like that. You think, I want to make part-time money. I'd like to make $20,000 or $30,000 part-time. I would love that. And then there's some of you that even think a little bit bigger and think, you know what, why wouldn't I want to make this a full-time job? This seems like it'd be really great. So everybody has different reasons of getting in and different goals. But what I will tell you, your success is in your hands. So what I mean by that is what you do with your, when you become successful in Premier, it's going to be because of you. Premier's a great product, and we have a great hostess plan, and oh my gosh, you can have lots of great shows and earn $300 and $400 at a show. But the reality is that your success will be based from what you all do. All right? What do I mean by that is Premier cannot make you successful. Okay? Aaron can't make you successful. Holly can't make you successful. I can't make you successful. The only person that can really make you successful is you. So it's all right here. So that choice is yours. So know that your success is because what you do with it. So I always say take ownership that this is your real life business. And understand that it really can and it has a serious amount of potential, right? From as simple as when I started, it was to do alongside my full-time nursing job, it was to pay for Catholic education for my kids. So $1,000 a month, if I could make $1,000 a month in my Premier job, then that allowed me to pay cash for their Catholic education, which was significant for my husband and I. Because the alternative was, we wouldn't have been able to send them to a Catholic school because we wouldn't have had that extra income. It was the only way they were going to be able to go to a Catholic school. Once we achieved that dream, then the next simple dream was, it became very realistic to me. Every time I go out and do a show, I go, wow, I can make more money doing a jewelry show in 2 hours and make $250 or $300 than I could all day as an RN making $24 an hour. I mean, it didn't take me long to compute it and go, man, if I deny not working and going out and doing a jewelry show, I almost deny my family a paycheck. And so it made a lot of sense for me. If I continue to work and chip away at this, maybe this could be a part-time thing. And that's what it became. Within 6 months, a part-time job, I was able to go down PRN as a nurse and work as needed or flexible schedule as a nurse, but be able to work equal time with my Premier business. After a year and a half, I went full-time Premier and have never looked back. And this has been a full-time career, an income that could provide, over 6 figures after 4 years. Okay? Why do I tell you that? I tell you that for vision. I tell you that that is the possibility of Premier if you want to invest and work that hard to get it. Or some of you are thinking, Jen, I'd just be happy with an extra $500 a month. So you're going to chip away, and you're going to start out with something maybe very simple alongside your busy life. But what you're going to realize most often is it's worth every bit of your time to invest into Premier. Because when you invest in it and do a show, you're going to see the payback to it. Okay? So we're going to share with you, that's the opportunity, which is substantial. I think a big message I want to share with you all too is that you're going to have, it's going to be hard before it becomes easy. And what do I mean by that? Anytime you do anything new, it's never easy. You remember anybody just, recently ever have a new position at work or you've started something new and go, when's this going to get easy, right? at first it's going to feel a little challenging because you're just learning the basics. And the best thing about our Jewel School is we're only giving it to you incrementally, 1 week at a time, just an hour, quick snippet. And this will all even be recorded. You can rewatch. But the point of the matter is that we're here along the way to support you, because there's going to be times when you think you're not getting ahead. You know what? I feel like that as a mom sometimes. You know, like my house is messy and I'm like, oh, what happened? You know, I'm not getting ahead. But in Premier, sometimes initially it'll feel like that. What do I mean? You might feel like you might go to a show and you might not have as many people at that show that you thought were going to be there. Maybe you thought there were going to be 8 people there and it ended up being 2 people there. And you go, oh, I'm discouraged because it was a small show. All right? Or maybe you go and you talk to somebody and they say, you know, Leah, I thought I wanted to do a jewelry show, but I'm not sure I want to do one anymore. And they cancel and they don't even have a show with you. So things like that will happen. And it is no par for the course. It's pretty normal for us to experience ups and downs in Premier. But I want you to know that the ups outweigh the downs. And it really, the downs is just really working through them. So most often, we've experienced everything you're going to experience. So if you have maybe low retail at your jewelry show, you know, we can work through that of how you could, you know, maybe increase your retail at your next show, or increase maybe more people to want to book shows at your next show. So it's just a learning curve, but there isn't anything you're not going to do it's not going to be perfect. But know that that's normal, and that's okay, right? Because I remember going through some of those mistakes thinking, maybe I'm just not good enough. Maybe Premier's not for me. I think I wanted to quit maybe 4 or 5 times my first year in Premier. Because I was like, you know, maybe it's just not. Maybe it's just, and what I learned is no. You just got to learn to just keep on chugging along. And it's that persistence thing, work through it. So, yeah, there's going to be little bumps in the road, but we're going to work through the bumps. And that's why you have such a great, Premier is so different. Again, we have such a strong support group. And that makes it really important to know that you're not in it by yourself. Like there's some companies that you might feel like you were in it by yourself, not Premier. That's why we take the time to train you, because we want you to succeed and we want what's best for you. So know that those 2 things are really important. Your success is going to be great and will be determined by what you do. And mistakes are normal, and it's okay. We're working through them. It's just, you know, anybody that's successful in life has weekly mistakes, that process that they go through to hit success. And that's very normal. So don't worry about that. So, Holly, we have, as our first jewel school, we definitely wanted to cover your why in Premier. To me, of anything we talk about tonight, this happens to be the most significant. Well, Holly's going to talk more about the process of the why. I'm going to talk more about why you have a why in Premier. So, for example, you just started this great, awesome business, and it really, truly is a 1 in a million business and opportunity. But you have to identify what's your why. Why are you doing this business? And the reason being is you need to have a strong purpose to keep you going. Okay? So, Dawn, I talked to you earlier, and you had said that one of your purpose was to send your kids to a private school. And so when you look at your purpose, and whatever that purpose might be, you have to be very specific. And the other thing we recommend is that you literally identify, okay, so it's private school. What do you think that might cost on a month-to-month basis for you to send your kids to a private school? What would that cost?
It's about $400 a month.
$400 a month. So how doable? So if you could visualize that Premier could meet your needs a year from now, and every month you had enough money to pay for your cash for your Christian school for your children, How would that make you feel?
Amazing. Amazing.
And so that feeling is so amazing, and it really gets you up in the morning and gets you excited about why you are doing Premier Designs. Because yeah, the jewelry's awesome, and yeah, the parties are fun. The reality is that's your motivator. Your motivator is getting your kids into that Christian education, which I agree, I think is probably one of the biggest favors we can do for our children nowadays. So what a huge thing you could do for your kids, and because of Premier. And the next question I might ask someone when I identify what their purpose is I might ask you the simple question is, what would be if it didn't happen, if you didn't work and you didn't apply what you learned and you didn't go out and hold jewelry shows to earn income, what would be the alternative, to your purpose? I mean, meaning, would you be able to send your kids to
No.
Christian education? So it just wouldn't happen.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay? So what's really important for everyone to understand is to come clean with your purpose is really important. Because your purpose has to be stronger than your fear. Okay? So for example, when I got into Premier, some of my big fears was I didn't know if I've never sold anything. I mean, I honestly never sold anything. So here I'm thinking, I'm selling jewelry, but I've never sold anything. I'm a nurse. And my husband said, Jane, you just got to love people and go out there, and the jewelry kind of sells itself. And you know what? He's pretty much right. The jewelry does sell itself, but I had to go out and I had to really identify. I had fears. And the only thing that kept me doing Premier, get me going, is that I knew by doing Premier, it allowed me to send my kids to Catholic school. And that was the only way it was going to happen. So even though I was fearful of starting Premier and getting outside my comfort zone, which really was, this was stronger than this. And so I was able to drive my business because my purpose kept me, it'd wake me up in the morning. It'd get me out of bed thinking, okay, who do I know that would do a jewelry show for me? And sometimes it felt like a few months where I felt like I was bold enough or strong enough to ask people to do shows for me. And then it clicked. I thought, wait a second, they're not doing me a favor by doing a jewelry show. I'm kind of doing them a favor by doing a jewelry show. Like, you get $300 in free jewelry by being a hostess. Like, I've never met any of my hostesses in that period of time who didn't fall in love with being a hostess. They loved the whole experience. They had fun at their show. They got their friends together. They got a collection of jewelry. They learned fashion tips. And I thought to myself, Jane, what are you scared of? You have something to offer them. And that's what we do. We do have something to offer them. And through the trainings and through working with us all, what you realize is, boy, you'd almost be crazy not to do a jewelry show, right? So identifying your purpose takes those fears and starts pushing them down because you really are driven by that purpose. And then that purpose allows you to get, better at what you do in Premier, learning to get a little more confident every show you do, and every time you talk to someone. You become more passionate and more driven. So having that purpose is significant. You will not walk away out of this house or in your Periscope land without having purpose of why you're doing Premier. Because honestly, it's the jewelers who don't have a purpose that really end up waffling or struggling because they don't know why they're doing it. So come clean. I listened to Dave Ramsey today on AM radio this afternoon, and boy, I said when I listen to him, he fires me up. Anybody listen to Dave Ramsey? And I'm going to tell you something. This is huge. A young couple, they were in their 30s, paid $68,000 in debt. They had $68,000 in debt by just simple little things like car payment. They had medical bills, and they had student loans. All that racked up to $68,000, and they were in the early 30s. Okay? This is not talking house payment, any of that. This is just debt of credit card and that kind of debt. And he did double time for a solid year at his work. to pay off that debt. But he said, you know what? He said, here's what I had to do. He goes, this is what he said to Dave Ramsey. His name is Chad. Chad goes, I had to get mad at myself. I had to get mad at myself. I had to get mad at the situation we were in to change and say, you know what? My purpose to work was I had to pay off this debt. Because there was no alternative. I had to pay it off. And so sometimes we have to take even a good hard look at ourselves and say, what do we really need to do with Premier? And sometimes you might even just have to get mad at yourself to say, I'm taking care of that credit card debt, or I'm gonna start saving for retirement, or I'm gonna pay down my college loans, whatever it might be, and acknowledging what Premier financially can do for you. And realize that every time you go out and do a show, it's a paycheck. You get paid every night you go out and show that jewelry. So I would look at how many days you want to go out and make money. And you really have to look at it from that perspective. And so many people need Premier as an extra income to go do that. And so having that purpose is going to drive you out to mark your calendar of all those times you're going to go out and do those shows, which is huge. So your why in Premier. If you guys open up your pamphlet, we will send this on Jules with Jane. You guys will get the Zoom focus sheet. And that Zoom focus sheet is the very first sheet I always go over with every new jeweler in Premier. And it's basically the law of the land. It pretty much is if you do what's on this sheet, I can guarantee you a year from now, if you do exactly what's on this sheet, you will win in Premier. Guaranteed. I mean, there's no even questions, ifs, ands, buts about it. If you follow this and say, Jane, I am going to slap this bad boy up. I'm going to really, really pay attention and do what you say on the sheet. I'm going to tell you, there's hardly not a reason why you wouldn't succeed in Premier. And here's what it looks like. It pretty much says, you know, in your Premier business a year from now, what would it Premier look like? And if a Premier can meet your needs, what would it look like? And you're going to go ahead and mark down that simple, I'm going to go grab it and get it kind of goal. So for Dawn, it was, you know, her Christian education. The next step, and Holly's going to talk about this, what activities will you do to achieve your goal? Meaning, it's always about the process. And so we're going to teach you simple habits. At first might seem a little like maybe challenging, but I always say it might be hard at first, but it becomes easy later. Life works that way, right? If we do everything easy now in our life, we're only going to have a hard life later. If we work hard now at some of the things we know we got to work on, it becomes easy. That's like in our weight. That's in our finances. That's in going through college. That's even starting a new business. Is that it starts out where these are going to be simple disciplines. What activities are you going to do that are going to drive your success? So one of the activities, right, Holly Dove, would be doing what? That would drive our success in our business. Shows.
Shows, yeah. I thought you wanted me to go deeper than that at some point.
No, well, I'm going to have you do that 180 sheet. But okay. Shows, you know, at first it's going to be for you guys, it's learning how to do a pretty darn good show. So we're going to teach you the format of the show, but you know what you're going to do week by week? You're going to go and you're going to get on YouTube, or you're going to go on our homework little simple assignments and say, I'm going to go check out and look how she does, you know, I'm going to watch that fashion segment again. I'm going to watch how she does her booking activity at her show again. I'm going to watch this, and you learn to get better because you are what? Practicing, watching, and learning the simple basic fundamentals of how to do a good show. Okay, so at first, that will be a part of your process as a brand new jeweler, is just getting better at that and learning. And obviously, the more you practice and watch, the better you become, right? So those are some of the things. The next thing that's really important is, this is statistics, and this is huge, 80% more likely for you to achieve your goals if you have an accountability partner than if you don't have one at all. 80%. That's huge. So that means, who's your accountability partner? your number one accountability partner. Hopefully maybe some husbands are watching on Periscope land, but your husband could be, or your significant other could be a great accountability partner in your business. I know my husband is. Okay, so having an accountability partner in your husband. So when you set your basic simple goal of sending your kids to Christian education, you go home and claim it with your husband and say, hey, this is what you know, do you want to, you know, make sure that hold me accountable to this? You're 80% more likely just by having an accountability partner to achieve your goals and dreams. Mm-hmm. This is huge. Okay, who else is going to hold you accountable? Your upline, the people who brought you into this business. We will hold you accountable, and meaning encouraging you on how to achieve your success more than anything. We're pure encouragement. Sometimes we'll challenge you, but a good challenge. And but most often to encourage you and let you know that you can do it. Okay? So that support and accountability is huge. So you're going to write down your upline's name, and you're going to write down your significant other. Will be huge. Also, then it asks, what's your alternative? You know, if you don't succeed, write that loud and clear, because you know that might motivate you to get kind of mad at yourself, right? So if your alternative not to succeed is, I would never pay off my debt, and you're staring at that statement, that's hard. Mm-hmm. That's a tough one, because, you know, nothing changes when nothing changes. And so I have to do that with me when I want to get on this scale. I mean, I avoid the scale at all costs, and I realized at the beginning of the year that had to change. Because if I didn't change and say, what's the alternative, I was just going to keep adding pounds to my body. Wasn't good. Activities.
You got a lot of hearts on that one.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys quit. Okay,
even more. Oh, look at all those hearts.
So hard, easy. I'm hard. It's hard. I didn't have any cupcakes at Sue Temple's house last night. So I'm going to be better when I go on that cruise in a month with Premier Designs. Guess what? You can earn trips with Premier, which is pretty awesome. We're going to be going on a trip. I'll be glad that I didn't eat that cupcake. Anyway, so your activities are going to be driven by a calendar. So getting a nice, awesome, simple calendar is huge, because this is like almost like your second Bible. It's going to be everywhere you go. I mean, I don't leave home without this thing. It goes everywhere with me. And so in this calendar, I set up, and I'm going to let Hallie do this. We're going to set up the days you want to work. All right? And you're going to identify already that this year. And so depending on what your purpose is and what your goals are, we'll identify how many times you're going to do a show. Okay? So that will be huge. How many phone calls? How many, it's going to be important that you're a list maker all the time. You guys should have two great big lists. You know what the list should be? A big list of all the people that need to do a Premier Design Jewelry show. And you know who that is? Everybody. Everybody needs to do a Premier Design Jewelry show. I'm serious. They do. And you might say, I had friends who say, Jane, I don't wear jewelry. I said, you need to. And they go, what? I go, you need to. You need to have a show. You're the perfect person to do a show. Do you know some of my best hostesses to date in 13 years are the people who told me they did not wear jewelry? Okay? And I tell you, being here in Indiana, I find a lot of people now wearing a lot of jewelry around here. And I'm like, man, we got a lot of work to do. So it's exciting, right? So make a big list of all the people you know that that you want to do a show with. Because you know what? Day by day, you're going to contact some of those people. You're gonna pick up the phone and call them. When you're out and about, we're going to give you simple things to say, for them to host a show. You're going to send them a cute text message with a cute pic collage picture. I never send someone a text message to consider doing, like right now I did a show. I booked 3 shows the other day for next month, simply by a text message with a picture, and it says, who's ready for spring break? And it's a cute picture, pic collage of all these pictures of the jewelry. And I go, we just need new jewels for spring. I mean, we're tired of the winter. You do want to get some friends together. 3 people said yes, just from that kind of message, right? So we're going to show you how to kind of put those messages out there to produce some activity in your business. We're going to talk to you about, obviously, how many shows you can do a week. We talked about that. Also, you're going to get excited. You're going to realize in a month, in these next few weeks, anybody do a launch show yet? Your very first jewelry show? When you do your very first show, you're going to realize, oh my gosh, why doesn't everybody do this premier business? Like, that's what I thought when I started. Like, I remember telling Marie, you were my very first jeweler, but I remember telling Marie about it, my cousin about it, my sister about it, my cousin about it, all within the first 6 months I started. I was so excited. I couldn't believe I didn't think there was such a great possibility you could work for a company that treated you so well. It was a biblically based company. It had the same values as I did. Every time I could go out, on average, I could make $200 to $250 in free jewelry, or make money, $250 every time I go out and show the jewelry on average. That was 13 years ago. I thought, why doesn't everybody want to do this? You get to wear the jewelry, so you're going to have people who are watching you do too. And we do live OP conference calls on Wednesday nights and on Sunday nights. You're going to want to get people you know on the call to hear about the business you're doing, and maybe they will want to do this business right alongside with you. And I'll tell you, it's nice when you have friends doing the business alongside with you, because it's kind of like they're your running buddies, right? And I remember starting this business with Janelle. She was a good friend of mine, and we started together. And it was nice having that running buddy because, she was in the same boat as me, right? So we're going to talk to you about, maybe that's a strong possibility. And with that, let's look at, Holly, the Track to Success or Penny Lacey's sheet that's on. Do you have it?
Yep.
Okay, so she's going to talk to you about this and why this is another really important sheet when we're talking about our activities and how we're going to reach our goals and our purpose.
Okay. Can you hear me all on Facebook or Periscope land?
Periscope land.
Whatever it is. I don't know. This is my first time on here. I don't know. Okay, someone said yes.
Okay, awesome.
All right. I didn't know if I needed to talk up loud.
You're getting lots of love, Holly.
Oh, yes. Bring it on, girls. Okay, so Jane's I'm sure this is already posted in Jules with Jane, but if you guys need it, we're going to have it in there again. And that's your Tracks to Success sheet. It also comes in your new jeweler kit. What are you laughing about?
You're getting lots of hearts.
Not good for my ego. Anyways.
Words of affirmation.
Yeah, that's my love language. This is perfect. Yes. Okay. So the steps to success, it's also in your tracking guide, but this is nice because you can just have one sheet and you can put it like on your refrigerator, somewhere where you're going to see it like daily, and you can check things off. And I was talking to Jane about this earlier. I think it's really fun. We used to have, when we did the Disney trip, you could fill in as you did shows, as you earned your points, and my kids loved to fill that in. Well, why can't we adapt this to something that our families watch us fill in? And, when you achieve these different milestones, you get to do something.
Go bowling.
Go bowling, go to a movie. Maybe you get a big one, which is, what's it go up to on here?
Go to a movie.
Designer. You're a designer or builder. Like, that's a big step in leadership. And you guys might maybe go for like a little weekend getaway. Just treat yourself and use this sheet to do that. And I'm not going to go. Do you want to go?
Tell them the basic, simple things like the first, like the quick start, because I think that's really super important.
You want to do quick start because it's the very first award you can earn, and also it means you're going to make your investment.
So what is quick
start? Quick start is you have your training show. 45 days from the date of your training show. You two quit laughing. Erin and Tiffany are making you laugh, everybody. Quick start is 45 days from the date of your training show. You hold 6 shows in those first 45 days, and it does not include the training show, just so you know.
So it shows on there. There's a little box there.
6 shows. So you're going to write in there the dates that you did those shows.
So what 6 friends is going to get you to quick start?
Yes. So you could even already have filled those in as you're filling in your calendar. Go ahead and start filling in your little boxes on here. And then when you run and write your deadline right there.
And how much do they get when they get that?
$200 in jewelry. But think about how much profit you made in 6 shows too. That's even better than the jewelry, right? So you've made your profit back. You have the deadline there. Write that in your planner too. So I would go home, if you haven't already, where your training show is, count out 45 days, right? That's your deadline for Quick Start 6. Then you have nine shows within, you get another basically 2 weeks for the first 60 days. Get you another 100, and then you get another 100 when you have 12 in 90-day period, which that's the cakewalk. If you did 9 in 60 days, you're going to do way more than 12 within the
And
90
our
days.
goal is to show you in the next few weeks how to do such a great show that when you do your first 6 shows, you're getting bookings from those shows.
Yeah.
So it just expands your
The
business.
faster you can get out of the friends and family circle, the better.
And what you're going to remember is that's why next week we're talking about hostess coaching. And what hostess coaching is how do you teach your hostess to have a really successful show? Because you want her to invite from different, so initially, when you guys have your first few shows, they're going to be like maybe your sister's going to have a show, maybe your mom, maybe your aunt, maybe your cousin, and you're going to want to teach her how to have such a really great show where she invites from different social circles of people. So for example, if your cousin had a show for you, all right, maybe you don't know the people your cousin goes to church with. Or maybe you don't know her neighbors, that your cousin's neighbors, right? So those are all new people that have maybe never seen Premiere, would love to have a show, and you get to do their show for them, right? And so that's the exciting piece about why preparation is so significant in this business. You want me to tell you my favorite? This is I made this quote up.
Let's have it.
You gotta go slow to go fast. And there's a lot of truth to that. You know, sometimes we think we're just gonna bust to move in life. And the reality is you gotta be prepared to knock it. And that's what we're teaching you, is we're trying to give you our best pieces of advice for you to go. You're gonna start out slow to go fast and build a business in this. And I'm excited about that for you. So this is huge. This should be a really awesome motivator.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say on that?
Well, you know, this up here, these boxes are going to be where you're going to fill in for your shows, but down below here is when you're going to start adding people to your Premiere family. And easily, if you did Quick Start 12, you might as well, within that time, go ahead and sponsor your first 2 jewelers maybe right at Rookie Club, and you're halfway to builder like that within your first.
In all these clubs, it tells you what you can earn. But people say to me all the time, but Jane, I don't know if I want to sponsor. I don't know if I want to build a Premiere family. And honestly, all I can tell you is, you know, we help support and encourage you with that. And it's kind of like, honestly, it's like a shoe sale. For me, honestly, when I experience something that, like say if I went to Kohl's today, and there was such an awesome shoe sale at Kohl's, and I saw all these shoes that were ridiculous prices, I'm going to call Aaron up. I'm going to call Holly up. I'm going to call Maria up. You guys got to get to Kohl's. I mean, there's some great shoes. You need shoes? Aaron might say, I don't need any shoes.
I do.
Marie goes, I need shoes? Well, tell me about it, right? And Holly goes, well, I'm not sure if I need shoes, right? So, but the point is most people have not had a pay increase or a pay raise to their family. That's a statistic that I just heard actually in the news yesterday, in 8 years. You know, the middle class family isn't any further ahead than they were 8 years ago.
Wow.
And the fact of the matter is, where do people bridge that gap? How do they get ahead? And I believe Premiere is a huge answer. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, because the ultimate thing is, if you don't work, you don't get paid. But our goal is to inspire and encourage you to go out and want to work. And it's going to be fun, hard work. You're going to go out and do a show and go, it's a lot easier than my day job as a nurse. You know, that's what I did. I realized, I'm like, I get paid for this? Yeah, I have to learn how to do a show and get prepared for it, and, you know, learn how to show the necklaces to people. But we show you those fundamentals. But I will tell you, at the end of the day, it's worth every bit of it. and learning all of that. So it's exciting. Anything else, Hal, on that? What time do we got too? Because we want to be on time.
We got about 10 minutes.
Okay, so we did our why, we did our Zoom focus, and we did our steps to success, which will all be posted on Jules with Jane. The last thing I'm going to tell you back on the Zoom focus to finish up the final part of this is the reality is, as Dave Ramsey said today with Chad and I can't remember her name. I want to say Stephanie. Chad and Stephanie. I got really in tune to their story today. Is Dave Ramsey said the reality is you always have to give up to go up. There's always sacrifice involved in moving ahead. Will anybody tell you that there isn't? And that's such a true statement. And so you will have to sacrifice something to fit Premier in and to make Premier work. Meaning, for me, it was I had to sacrifice watching TV, or maybe I like to sleep. I remember back then because I felt like I was a 6-month-old. I was always so tired, but less. I had to get into a rhythm of not sleeping in so long. So the point in the message is you're going to have to identify what are you going to give up and sacrifice to make Premier work. And that's a real legit, real message to learn. And then last is, once again, who's your accountability partner? Because that's going to be crucial in this business. Being a Lone Ranger in Premier or trying to do Premier by yourself and not having a real reason to do it will end you in a position that you won't grow. I see it over and over and over again. The people who know why they're doing it have an accountability partner, start to learn about a process and learn about what activities they have to do. It's huge. So, for example, many of you are going to learn on the weekend. You're going to make maybe a list of little things every day you're going to do in your Premier business. And these little things might only initially take you, say, 15 minutes, a half hour a day, maybe, Holly? Where you could say, for example, of those 15 minutes or a half hour, maybe 10 minutes of those of your half hour might be calling people or texting people to get more shows on your calendar, right? Maybe part of the 15 minutes might be learning how to do better at your show. So you might watch a YouTube video on specific things. It might be here, coming to a training. But the point is that you're looking every day, you're chipping away at your business little by little. But that's just like a diet. Fat diets don't work. People who lose a lot of weight really fast and quick can gain it all back. Sometimes it's frustrating when you're on a diet and you're losing only a pound a week. But after a month, it adds up to be 5 pounds or 6 pounds. It might be more than a pound a week. And what you realize is over 2 months, it's 12 pounds. In 3 months, it's 18 pounds. And what you realize is in Premier, those little things you do every day, and they become like almost a habit, make you the successful jeweler in Premier. Those are the most successful jewelers I know in Premier. They just do something, a little something. I did it alongside my full-time nursing schedule, just in my break time. In break, when I was at break, I couldn't stop thinking about being a jewelry lady while I was a nurse. So on my break time, that's when I would do all my Premier stuff. And meanwhile, I always wore jewelry with my scrubs. So I had to show everybody what I was doing. Yes, you never leave home without your jewelry, for sure. Okay, and then the last thing, and this is the end, and then we'll go to the homework. You look at the homework and tell them at the homework when we get there. Is the very first thing that I want you to work on is your Premier Design story. So the very first thing you will do at your jewelry show is introduce yourself, okay? Now, why we say you're going to work on your Premier Design story is because you don't want to fumble around with it. In other words, you don't want to get to your very first show and go, my name is Jane, and I don't know, and kind of fumble and get nervous about it. You want to be able to go and be prepared on, hey, I want to connect to the people at the show, and I want them to know who I am and why I'm doing what I'm doing. And really, your story builds relationships. Your story connects with people, and they go, "Oh my gosh, that's neat." I mean, makes me get to know a little bit more about Jane. So I'm going to give you guys my premiere story, and it's kind of a before, a during, and an after. Okay, and it's about 60 seconds long. And what will happen is we're going to help you identify your story. So when you leave here, your homework, one of your homework assignments for the week is you're going to identify what's my premiere design story. And you're going to write things down, hey, my name is Dawn, and I'm from Fort Wayne, Indiana. And you're going to say your simple story, but you're going to then work with your accountability partner or your upline in premiere, which is Megan. Hey, Megan, I love Megan. Hopefully Megan might be on. Is you're going to say to Megan, help me make my story awesome. So you're going to practice it all week, and you're going to kind of rewrite it, maybe re-script it, re-practice it. By Friday, you're going to have a rockin' premiere story, right? And so when you go to your very first show, it's just by nature, you're going to tell people who you are, and you're going to have your premiere story, and it's kind of like, wow, she knows what she's talking about, and it gives you a sense of, comfortable, you're comfortable and they're comfortable and you're able to go it. So here's the story, okay? Hi, my name is Jane Francis. I'm from the Indiana area, and I want to tell you I'm a nurse by trade, and I never wore jewelry. I was invited to a jewelry show 13 years ago. My friend Janelle was having a show, and she said, Jane, I would love for you to come to a jewelry show of mine. I had just gotten off a 12-hour shift of work. I was in my scrubs, and I had my 6-month-old sitting on my little hip. And I thought, I don't really feel like going to a jewelry show. And she said to me, I'm not taking no for an answer. You're coming over here. She goes, I need you. So I hung up, and I didn't want to lose a friend. So I went to that jewelry show. And you know what? That jewelry show was incredible. I had so much fun. I had no idea what to expect. But what I realized is how much fun the women had together. All the little fashion tips you learned were incredible. I saw so many things I really wanted. I couldn't afford to get them all. I bought one bracelet, the Bally bracelet. Remember that, Marie? That's the bracelet I bought. And I held a whole wish list of other things I wanted. But when I heard about the hostess plan and how much free jewelry you could get, I never had home shows either. But I realized, why not do a show? I could earn it all for free. Plus, I had fun, so I wanted my friends to have as much fun as I did. I wanted to show them, the whole experience. And so I booked a jewelry show. Now, I didn't even think twice about even thinking about premiere as a business. I just didn't go to the jewelry show to think like that. But I drove home that night, and it took me 20 minutes from Janelle's house to my house. And I thought, in those 20 minutes, I wonder if that's a real life business. I wonder if that girl made money tonight. I wonder if that's worth her time. And what I'm going to tell you is when I found out the answers to that and realized you can make half of what you sell, the hostess plan is thebomb.com, the jewelry sells itself, why wouldn't I consider something like this? And so 13 years later, this is now my full-time job. But it didn't start out that way. It started out as a little hope and a prayer, paying an extra $1,000 a month to put my kids through Catholic school. So I want you to watch what I do tonight. You could do what I do. And that's my story. Okay? So you will have a story that's real personal to you, and you will practice that. Okay? So with that being said, we're going to work on the story. And so think of it this way. Before, and now for you guys, you're not going to have a big after. You're going to have a during. So your before is going to be, who are you? And before you even got into premiere. How did you get introduced to premiere? What made you even consider it? Why are you standing in front of them at this point? All right? And that's pretty much going to be your story. And I can't wait to hear them all. Holly, what's their homework for the week? We're going to...
Besides the story and practicing your story, bringing it back next week. So you do want to practice it this week.
Because we're going to ask you. Periscope Lee, and we're asking you too.
You can practice it with your upline. And then the Zoom focus sheet, getting that filled out, do that with your upline.
And don't leave it blank. Do not leave that Zen Focus
You'll
blank.
be bringing it back next week too. And your tracks to success, the 180 sheet, is that what that's
Yes,
called?
yes.
The 180 sheet, just kind of start filling things in there. As you know, you have dates and things and deadlines.
It's going to motivate you. You're going to look at that tracks of success and say, why can't I earn? I'm going to earn $200 in free jewelry.
Yep.
I'm going to earn $300 in free jewelry.
That might be one that'd be good to sit down with your husband too and kind of show that, and the Zoom focus sheet. I think you could do both of that.
So, and I will post, all of you, you've gotten these forms, but I will post all the Periscope land. I'll post you guys these forms tonight. But also, I have a video called New Jeweler Inspiration video that I made recently, and it's 16 minutes long. I want you to watch that again sometime this week as homework assignment, and kind of just jot down some specific things I've said. I'm super motivated and excited for you guys. I don't question whether this, I know this business works. Premier works, and it's an awesome opportunity. You just have to learn how to work it. And that is precisely why you're here. And I am so excited and encouraged because I know that Premier can really be an awesome opportunity for you guys. It's really the real deal.
Jane, that video you just talked about, it's on. They can search that Premier Designs on YouTube and New Jeweler Inspiration, and that will come up.
Is it on my YouTube?
Mhm.
Awesome. Do we have any questions from
Just
anyone?
getting some love. They're saying thank you. If there's any questions, we can see those if you have any.
Okay. That's it. That's our first session. That's how fast that hour went. And next week is hostess coaching, and what else, Holly? The fashion from the new kit. So we're gonna have our new kit of jewelry, and we're gonna have our fashion, and we're gonna be rocking how you're gonna do a basic, because by then you're gonna know your story, right? We're gonna show you how to get your brand new people ready to host their shows, your friends and family to host their shows. We're gonna learn what hostess coaching, what that means, and then we're gonna show you how to go into your show and talk about the jewelry. And we literally have a simple letter game for you guys to do, and what jewelry to show. One really easy. Yay! All right, we'll see you next week.
Okay.
You guys feel